Hawks don't have a timeout. Trae from midcourt to win it. Yes! He hit it! He hit it! Trae Young hits a three, the buzzer!
So, when looking around the league, there's guys who can pass good, but then you have Trae Young. Trae Young has gotten a lot of hate throughout his career, especially from certain fan bases, but you can't fail to acknowledge that he is arguably the best passer in the NBA. When you average 12 assists, have a 46.5 assist percentage, and have a 2.83 assist to turnover ratio, it's hard to not give him credit unless you're simply a hater. Sure, some of you may not like his shot selection at times, may hate his defensive efforts, or you might just not like him as a player. But when you put all that to the side and look at the way he makes guys around him better, it's truly a thing of beauty. This year so far, Trae has had 10 games with 15 or more assists and hasn't had a single game with less than 5 assists. To be able to find your guys on the court like this at barely 6 foot is impressive, and I'll show you exactly why. To open up angles, you must be able to shift the defense, and Trae does this perfectly with his ability to collapse the defense. A lot of smaller guys usually would shy away from driving to the paint due to there being trees down there to stop him, but for Trae, he uses those trees for shade while his teammates can go play in the sun. For example, you can see that Trae has a wide open layup when pushing to the basket, but with the alien Victor Wembanyama coming over to help, Trae now has a man butt naked in the corner, and this one is easy money. Plays like that only happen if you get the defense to fully commit, and I can't stress this enough. You must pass the ball at the perfect time or else the defender could get a hand on it, but if and when it gets through, you have yourself a great look from the outside. During these penetrations, Trae tends to attract the attention of a lot of defenders, and when you're dealing with such a great passer, this right here is a no-go. With 3 OKC defenders all locked in on Trae, they fail to notice Roddy running out to the top of the key, and once again, it's another 3 points added on the board. Now with all this attention he receives, Trae must understand how to navigate past multiple defenders, so that's where the cross to eliminate one defender comes in handy. He then euros away from the second defender to get into some open space, and look what we have here, a sniper in the corner, locked and loaded, ready to fire. This ability to take on multiple defenders and still stay focused to make the pass is simply incredible, and let me remind you, Trae is only about 6'1", going towards guys who are 6'10 plus, so when he still manages to complete the pass, it says a lot about his facilitating. Collapsing the defense like this is the foundation to his game, as it allows him to get into a flow while reading how the defense will play him, and once he starts to understand it like lethal shooter, this is when we start getting these perfectly timed passes once the defense helps over. Now sometimes the angle he wants isn't all the way open for him to get it there, so he has to add in a little bit of flair, but for me, I call this the art of deception. When coming off the screen versus Utah, Trae is met with Kessler in front of him and Williams is right on his tail. At this exact moment, he doesn't have a clean angle to get the pass off or get into a floater, so he decides to use this rondo fake to get the defense to lunge towards Capella. At this time, Trae could now get into a floater over the top, but since he's always 2 steps ahead of the defense, he fakes as if he's gonna go up to then no-look this wraparound pass to Capella for the dunk. Ooh-wee! I'm telling you, this manipulation aspect of his game is madly underrated, as he'll keep the defenders on their toes with these fakes, and just when you think you've shifted in position to contain them, well here's where Trae will show you that there's always a gap you have left open. When coming off this screen here, Trae wants to go to Capella over the top, but with the defense in pretty solid positioning, Trae decides to look at Jalen Johnson to throw the Wizards off guard, so once they think he isn't gonna throw it, well the joke's on them. For the defense, you really have to play honest and understand where everyone is at on the floor, because if you don't, you'll end up stepping up leaving an open man, and now the alley-oop connection is underway. Now as special as this skill is, Trae's passing isn't all about being flashy, and it doesn't just stay within the half court. With Atlanta having the 2nd highest pace in the NBA at 104.5 and the 3rd highest points in transition at 28 a game, Trae is usually the leader in starting these breaks, and he's exceptional at setting his guys up in the open floor. When pushing up the court, his eyes are always scanning the floor to find the open guy, so when the double comes to him after passing half court, Young is already eyeing a Congo on this run to the rim, and now the pass is perfectly placed for the conversion. As we just stated, the Hawks love to get up the floor fast so they can capitalize on easy looks, but it's not always about rushing it, as here Trae doesn't gun it at the defense as he's waiting for Hunter to come up the floor, and with LeBron playing terrible defense, this bounce pass is threaded perfectly for Hunter to go slam it home. This accuracy and vision in the open court isn't something all guards in the league possess, and when you see that Trae Young can quickly spot an open man out this spin move to then hit them with pinpoint accuracy, it says a lot about his playmaking skills. Now with this ability to damage the opposing team in the half court and open court, you'll start to see defenses send doubles at him hoping to make him turn it over, but more times than not, all this does is leave your team at a disadvantage. Take this play for an example. When Trae arrives at the paint, the Blazers defenders assume they have him stopped with no options to pass it to. But hey, when they say people have eyes in the back of their head, that must be true, because this behind the back to Okongwu was way too smooth. Say they rush him off a screen, well here's where you can wrap this dime around the outside. If they try to cut him off on the sideline, he knows the perfect place to put the ball so Capella can catch it over the top to go finish. And if the defense is to take away the roll man while sending the blitz, well that ain't no problem for Young, it's more so a problem for the opposing team. Having multiple ways to find your guys when under pressure is what separates point guards from one another, and I mean hey, you can't tell me you wouldn't love a guy on your team who stays calm when guys are running at him, to then still make the right play. This truly all comes down to Trae being able to read the defense, and with this ability, he has also unlocked a valuable skill set of vertical spacing. Well, if you watch this play here, the defense is so worried about the lob over the top that they get in the air prematurely, and this right here is what we call the danger zone. Not only are you off your feet and unable to recover, but you're also out of position to contain Trae. So now he's able to take a few more steps while Capella is also able to make his way to the rim, and bada bing, it's money team. These lobs of his are so smooth and elegant that he makes it look like he's doing it with such ease, and if the defense is to shift over to be ready for it, well here's where you can zip it to the opposite corner. It's extremely key to have your guard and big man be in sync like this to connect on lob actions time and time again, but what's probably the most valuable part of Trae's passing is his ability to stay patient and control the pace he plays at. When coming off this screen here, he could hit Nance on the roll, but let's just analyze this for a split second. If he does get it to Nance on the roll, he now has to go score with multiple defenders waiting on him to help, and also Taylor may be able to get to the pass before Nance can get control of it. So what does Trae do? He stays patient, allows Nance to roll making the defense shift in, and now the pass to Hunter leads to straight cash. A lot of the time like that last play, the look Trae wants will be closed off as the defenders start to think they understand how to stop him, but here's where that skill of staying calm and the ability to stress test the defense comes into play, and now the original guy Trae wanted to hit becomes open, and Matthews can now sink the 3-ball after relocating. I don't care what any of you think, this right here is purely special. Not many guys around the league will take their time to let plays develop, but Young is quite different. If you pay close attention, you'll see that Trae is extremely good at balancing and using his pivot to create angles for himself, and voila, you now have the perfect setup. While we've seen how Trae dominates with his patience and precision, his game becomes even more solidified with his mastery of the pick and roll, quick decision making, and using his 3-point shooting gravity to his advantage. All these skills are what allow the rest of his playmaking to flourish, and when you're trying to be an elite guard in today's league, these are the exact skills you need to have in your bag. Each of these elements feed into the next, creating a complete package for a player that keeps the defense in constant chaos. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're first to know when I upload. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.